Hello everyone, welcome to Prestige Castle Farm. My name is Innocent. Today I'm quite excited to discuss with you whether rabbit farming is profitable. If you listen to a lot of rabbit farmers, so if you come across a lot of rabbit farmers, one of the first things, some of the things they will tell you is that, oh, rabbit farming is very profitable. So I'll be discussing with you whether it is truly profitable or not, and whether you should go into rabbit farming. In doing my analysis, I will be speaking my analysis from my observation and also from my own experiences having been a rabbit farmer. So is rabbit farming really profitable? Yes, rabbit farming can be profitable. It can be profitable provided certain things are done properly. So what are those things? There are certain things you need to do. These are things that I would call as factors. They are propellers, that could, take you from just an average rabbit farmer to a truly profitable rabbit farmer. So what are these factors that determine success? The first thing is knowledge. Knowledge is very, very important. So as rabbit farmer, you need to, in fact, before you go into rabbit farming, the first thing you need to, put in mind, the first thing you need to do is to read. If you don't have rabbit farming books, please do reach out to me on my WhatsApp. I'll share some of the books, the PDF books that I have with you. But you need to read. You need to gain knowledge about the rabbit farming, especially if you want to do it as a business. So that knowledge also involves research. So you need to watch videos on rabbit farming. In fact, I had to watch a lot of videos on YouTube before venturing into rabbit farming. So gain enough knowledge. Don't just dive into the rabbit farming and then start, learning through mistakes. Some of these mistakes, you can avoid it by just watching videos on YouTube, joining various rabbit farming groups on Facebook, on WhatsApp, to gain substantial knowledge before even going into the rabbit farming business. So the next thing is you need to have passion for it, because there will come some challenges along the road. Just like any farming venture, as a farmer, you should know that there are times when things would go well for you, and there are times where, things will just go really, really, really bad. But what keeps you in the business, and I always use the word business, right? Because you need to have the mindset that you're doing it as a business. Of course, we're going to discuss whether you want to just do rabbit farming as for personal consumption, or you want to do it in a commercial base or, semi-commercial base. But I'm speaking from, actually, when we're talking about profit, we're talking about the fact that you want to sell it, okay? You want to sell it to make profit. So you need to have the mindset that, this is a business, okay? So, so you need to have passion for it, because if you don't have passion for it, when the going gets tough, you may just find yourself fooding your farm. You may just end up closing your farm. So passion for rabbit are really, really beautiful animal, aren't they? They're such a beautiful animal. They're actually one of my favorite animals. So you should have passion for it, right? And then another very important factor is mentorship. And I can't, overemphasize this. You need to have a mentor. I have a mentor because you don't, in this rabbit farming business, you don't know it all, right? You don't know it all. You need to sometimes reach out to certain people and say, in fact, I've reached out to some of my mentors or some people who are more knowledgeable than myself. When I'm having challenges, yes, I do reach out to some people and say, please look, this is the experience we are having. Have you had this type of experience before? What needs to be done? Okay, so you need a mentor. And we also offer mentorship program at Prestige Castle Farm. So if you are interested, you can reach out to us and we'll discuss about that. So this brings us to a very important question of what type of rabbit farmer do you want to be? Do you want to be a rabbit farmer that maybe is just raising rabbit for personal consumption? Or are you looking into rabbit farming as a business? Okay, so if you want to go into rabbit for just personal consumption, then you need to take a different approach, right? So there you could get even a local rabbit, you could maybe raise them. You don't need to stress yourself much about feed, you can give them forages, because that is for personal consumption. You are not time, you don't have that time constraint, but that is really not much of our focus in this video. Our focus in this video is those who want to go into it as a business to make profit. So you need to be clear on what type of rabbit farmer do you want to be, okay? Commercial rabbit farmer, semi-commercial rabbit farmer, or for personal consumption. So if you want to go into rabbit farming as a business, you need to come up with a business plan. Yes, you need to come up. We do offer business plan to our clients. So if you're really interested in that, we also offer consultancy services. You can reach out to us and we'll be able to discuss that with you. So you need to come up with a business plan. Okay, so why is the business plan important? Because you need to know, okay, how much money is expected. Okay, how much money are you expecting to have to go into the business? What amount of stock do you want to start with? What is the cost implication? Okay, what are the projected profit? Okay, you look at what is the vision. You also look at other sources of income. So you need a business plan, because a business plan gives you a direction. Okay, so it's not just you're a rabbit farmer for rabbit farming's sake. No, you need to be intentional about it, have that business plan. Okay, so, and also the business plan, you also need to know, okay, what type of caging system do you want to use? Do you want to use the wooden cage? So what type of business cage do you want to use, and what is the cost implication for that? So one of the big costs is feed. So you need to also put that into consideration. Okay, what do you want to feed your rabbit with? Okay, you want to feed your rabbit with forages, or with hills, or do you want to feed your rabbit with formulated feed, or do you want to combine both? So these are all the things that needs to be in your business plan. Okay, so, and you need to have that mindset. You need to understand the cost implication. Otherwise, when you start and you're not seeing the profit, you may get discouraged. You really may. I have seen not just rabbit farmers, I have seen farmers close down because the economy itself has not been very favorable, especially in this part of the world, in Nigeria, where the high cost of feed is growing up massively. So if you do not put that into consideration, you may end up not being able to afford to buy feed for your rabbit, and you don't want to be in that situation. Okay, so now the most important things, these are all factors that I'm just sharing with you, things that you need to keep in mind before going into the rabbit farming as a business. The most important thing in rabbit farming as a business is marketing. If you meet any rabbit farmer, they will tell you that marketing is the most important thing. So you need to, in fact, just not just in rabbit farming, in livestock in general, right? You need to understand that, okay, whatever that you are raising, who are the consumers, okay? And are the consumers available to purchase from you? And do you want to work with middlemen? So you need to put all of that into consideration. So in fact, you should even, my recommendation usually is start marketing as soon as possible. Even before your rabbits start giving birth, start marketing. And of course, if you've not watched a video on how to market your rabbit, please scroll down on all our videos. You will see one of our videos on how to market your rabbit. So you will see the various tips and strategies that we share in that videos. I can tell you they are very useful. So you also need to take into account, one of the factors you need to take into account is, do you want to raise rabbit as a meat? Or do you want to raise rabbit as breeding stock for other farmers? Or do you want to combine both? Okay. So you need to put that into consideration seriously, because if you're raising rabbit as a meat, there are different strategies you need to put in mind. If you're raising rabbit for breeding stock, there are different strategies that works best for that line of business. If you're raising rabbit for both, you need to also come up with a particular strategy. Let me give you an example. If you're raising rabbit for meat, you need to fatten the rabbit at a very short period of time. It's almost like raising, if you want to raise broilers, you need to, for broilers, you need to make sure that, okay, at 5-6 weeks, they are ready for market, okay? It's the same thing. You need to make sure that, okay, at 3 months, I want my rabbit to meet certain amount of kg. So let's say 2 kg at 3 months. If you want to achieve that, you need to now take into account, okay, what type of feeding system do you need to adapt, okay? Maybe you need to use, for example, you need to use maybe you need, at the starting stage, you may need to start using finisher feed, or you may need to introduce certain form of formulation for the feed for your rabbit, or you may need to introduce your rabbit with maybe certain nutrient, so that your rabbit would meet that target. And also the breeding stock, the type of breed that you use for meat. There are certain rabbits that are suitable for meat rabbits. Okay, certain rabbits are very suitable for meat rabbit. So you need to make sure that, okay, you go for this particular breed of rabbit. For example, the New Zealand white, the California, the New Zealand, whether it's the New Zealand white, red, black, or the California white, or the American chinchilla, the standard chinchilla. These are rabbits that have shown to have a very good meat to bone ratio. So you want to start with that, okay? Because if you start with rabbits that the meat to bone ratio historically is not very good, and you want to go into meat rabbit as a business, you see, it will give you what you want. So this is all part of knowledge, right? And if you want to go into breeding stock, this is quite controversial, because for the breeding stock, of the view, some people are of the view that, I've seen some of my colleagues who are of the view that it's best, if you want to go into breeding stock, you stick with one breed and you perfect that breed, as time goes by. You say, for example, if you're going with the New Zealand white, for example, you just have the New Zealand white and you improve on the breed. For me, I am of the view that while that approach is good, you need to contextualize it within your environment, within your particular context, right? To say, okay, what does the market need? Okay, especially if you are going for breeding stock. And in this part of the world, like in Nigeria, rabbit farmers love variety. Okay, people would, okay, maybe even if they want to start their farm, they want to start with 2-3 breed, you know. So if you just sticking to one breed, you are losing the market. Remember, we're talking about rabbit farming as a business. So you need to think in that mentality, okay? So the next important point is networking with other farmers. Look, this is very, very important to, in fact, this is what differentiates between a successful rabbit farmer and one that is not successful. This is a very important factor. You need to network with other farmers. You know, reach out to other farmers, network with them, because what happens is this, like, for example, sometimes I do not have enough stock to meet my demand. But I have a network of other farmers, some who are my mentees, or some who are my friends, some who are my colleague in this business. I could reach out to them and say, hey, Mr. John, do you have this amount? Say we have a farmer that wants to set up the farm, or that needs meat rabbits. Do you have? Okay, so you see that networking. Or some farmers would reach out to me and say, listen, Mr. Innocent, do you have rabbit for my client? So you need that networking. Like as I said, if you go to Facebook, you will see a lot of farmers who are not, who just complain that rabbit farming is not profitable, this and that. I can tell you, rabbit farming can be very, very profitable if you know what you are doing. In fact, I can even argue that to some extent, if you look at it in the long run, it may even be profitable than someone who is doing broiler farming. Yes. Because of course, I'm going to make a video on advantage and disadvantage of that. But the point here is, what makes you stand out as a successful rabbit farmer? One of the important points is your ability to network with other farmers within your location, and even outside your location, because sometimes someone outside the location, maybe for example someone in Lagos, might reach out to me and say, listen, I need this amount of breed, and I know of a reputable farmer in Lagos. I would say, okay, you know what, can you reach out to this farmer? I know his stock is of good quality, or I will just reach out to that rabbit farmer and say, listen, this is a client that is interested, please get in contact with him or her. So networking is very, very important. And finally is, you know, some rabbit farmers are not aware, or they underestimate the amount of money they can make from the rabbit manure and the urine. I can tell you, I do not have rabbit manure, I do not have rabbit urine for sale, because I am completely sold out. And sometimes, in fact, currently someone just booked for some bags of manure and urine. And how do I get to sell this? I have a poultry farm, and so what happens is, I do have farmers that come to buy the poultry manure. So what I do is that I introduce the rabbit manure and the urine to these farmers that comes to buy poultry manure from my farm. And sometimes I give to them free, just a sample. And I say, take this sample, try it out. And if you see the result, come and let me know. Most times, probably 10 out of 10 times, they usually come back and say, you know what, I need this amount of quantity, maybe 10 bags, 20 bags, 50 bags of rabbit manure. So that is one strategy to get people to buy the manure and the urine. So I hope this video is important. I hope you found this video helpful. That yes, so to answer the question, is rabbit farming profitable? It can be profitable. In fact, it is very, very profitable if you do the right thing. Because Most times when you meet farmers, they will tell you, oh, rabbit farming is very profitable. Yes, you know, rabbit are prolific animals. You can start with 5, you can start with 10. Before you know, you've gotten up to 200, 500 rabbits. Really? But it doesn't usually work that way. There can be a lot of factors that may lead to your success. The type of breed you start with, your management system, your ability to deal with diseases, of course, is part of. In fact, a disease can come to your farm and clear off all your rabbits in a day. Yes, it's possible. So knowledge is very important, and these factors you need to take into cognizance. These factors when starting with when going into rabbit farming. And I always advise people, even if you have the money to stock 500 rabbits at a go, my recommendation usually is to start small and grow from there. So I hope this video has been helpful. If it has, please like, subscribe. It's been a while we uploaded a video. We had a lot of things. Our poultry farm is taking a lot of our attention, but we are back, and we hope this video has been helpful. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.